How y'all doing, brothers and sisters? How y'all doing, brothers and sisters? All right. Coming up next is a brother that drove over 700 miles with his wife to be here today at my request. So when he comes up here, I want y'all to give him a good Alabama welcome. Brother Byron Williams hails from Houston, Texas, where he serves as president and directing business representative of District 37 of the IAMAW. Byron initiated into the IAMAW as a member of Local 15 in 1996. From there, he went on to become vice president and then president of Local Lodge 15 prior to being elected as president of District 37. Since 2011, Byron has successfully negotiated new contracts and renegotiated existing contracts favorable to the IAMAW District 37 union members and their families regarding wages, retirement, and health benefits at companies such as ExxonMobil, Chevron Phillips, Goodyear, Greyhound, and multiple NASA Johnson Space Center contractors. One of Byron's career highlights includes leading and maintaining a strike during Hurricane Harvey that led to increased wages and sustained disability benefits for our members. Byron also serves as president of the Texas State Council of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, which oversees the IAMAW political interests for the state of Texas. He is an executive board member of numerous union coalitions, including A. Philip Randolph Institute, Houston Tide Lines Chapter, Coalition of Black Trade Unionists, Region 8, Texas Labor Management, Texas American Federation of Labor, Texas Gulf Coast Area Labor Federation, Texas City Metal Trades Council, and Texas Alliance for Retired Americans. He is also a member of the Labor Council for Latin American Advancement and Coalition of Labor Union Women. Brothers and sisters, if y'all will, give a warm round of applause for Brother Byron Williams.
Good afternoon, sisters and brothers. Nothing could be more important to me than being with you here in person today, and greetings from the state of Texas. I would like to extend my personal thanks to our International President, Bob Martinez, General Vice President Ricky Wallace, Human Rights Director Rhonda Rogers, North Alabama Area Labor Council President Ricky Langford, Secretary Treasurer Jacob Morris, Local Lodge President Brother Dave Story for inviting me here to the great city of Huntsville, Alabama. Especially given our new reality because of the COVID-19 pandemic, I am honored to be with you and thank each one of you today for taking the opportunity to be a part and involved in surrounding this racial and social injustice that continues to plague our country and our lives today. As Americans, this Juneteenth weekend should have been a celebration of freedom, a reaffirmation of equality, a reverence for our ancestors who once were considered chattel or property, and now be able to prosper from the foundation that helped people of color build. I want to mentally pose this question to each and every one of you. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. But yet we see, I can't breathe as we witness the heart-wrenching murders of George Floyd. Let us mention Miss Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Rashad Brooks, generations before, Emmett Till. We continue to see, even afterwards, a blatant misuse of power and authority. This community and throughout the world are standing steadfast to mandate justice, equality, and an end to racism and the systematic violence and hatred that is all still prevalent in this society today. I want to reiterate that the Machinists Union and the North Alabama Area Labor Council stands with you. Our foundation of democracy has a long way to go to reflect the creed of this nation. We are seeing people of all races marching, speaking up, speaking out, together for a better today, a better tomorrow, and for a better world, and demanding that justice finally be done. It could not have come at a more crucial time in our history. We are here today to turn these calls into action, to use our collective voices and our votes to make real change and lasting change, just like the previous marches, such as Birmingham and from Selma to Montgomery. Now we protest for labor rights, voters' rights, women's rights, and all forms of discrimination, which are all human rights. We must understand that an injustice to one is an injustice to all. Brothers and sisters, we are here in a moment in time that we, as Americans, must be honest with ourselves. We must engage with people and discuss these sensitive issues. Whatever fences or partitions between people of color should be removed. This is how we become better. Racism and biases are taught and formed when we start learning to love thy neighbor. Why can't all God's children live under the same canopy of equality? Let us embrace our differences as a positive rather than a negative, to unite us rather than divide us. We can achieve anything that we set our minds to. We must learn to talk to one another. We must learn to respect one another. We must learn to love one another. Sisters and brothers, again, we are here in a moment in time that we must challenge ourselves to continue to be a pillar for labor and working families. Stand up to those that attempt to strip away the fundamental rights of democracy, our fundamental rights of livable wages, our fundamental rights to health care, our fundamental rights to vote. We must hold our legislators accountable. We must continue to carry that torch that has been passed from one generation to the next. This is what the labor movement and community is about, being that voice. Whenever called, whenever needed, sisters and brothers, know that we stand with you. Thank you. On behalf of our International President and Executive Council, sends their most heartfelt condolences to every family and community here affected by this pandemic. We will get through this together. As Father's Day approaches tomorrow, we must say their names. We must not forget all that has been senselessly killed. Those who will not be able to hug their sons, their daughters, mothers who will not be able to hug their sons, wives who will not be able to hug their husbands. Memories of families whose lives have been affected will never be the same. Brothers and sisters, we are in a moment of time. This will not be in vain. We will not rest until every American can pursue the American dream. We will not rest until every American is free from racism and discrimination. The labor movement will never rest or be silent to any injustice. We must continue to march. We must continue to protest. We must continue to call out for those generations of Americans who have been denied their God-given right because of who they are. One final thought as I conclude. If more of those in power had the courage to stand up and fight for what is right, just imagine what kind of world this would be. As I close, I respectfully ask each and every one of you here today to please recite with me. Together, we have the power to overcome. Together, we can overcome. Together, we will overcome. Together, we will overcome. God bless you and God keep you and be safe. Thank you.